And now, with today's response to President Obama's weekly address, editor of the North Star National, Dan Calabrese.
This morning, President Obama's address was rife with indications that he doesn't have the slightest idea what to do about the economy. That will not come as a surprise to some of us who suspected as much when he ran for office, but he pretty much confirmed it this morning by telling us the tales of his traveling across the world, asking everyone he could find in Asia what they can do to sustain the recovery, which from all indications has not begun at all yet, but also with his announcement that he plans to bring together a summit within the next month or two of business leaders, labor leaders, people from non-profits to try to get their ideas about what to do about the economy. I gotta be honest with you, it's rather stunning that nearly more than a year after being elected, the president is holding brainstorms about what to do about the economy. It seems to me that when he ran for re-election, he did so on the premise that the economy was in trouble and that he was the guy to fix it. So here we are a year into, not a year into his presidency, but a year after he was elected and nearly a year into his presidency. And he's pulling together brainstorm sessions because he doesn't have the slightest idea what to do. You know, principles of economics are no great mystery. They're widely known. And granted, there are different schools of thought. There are Keynesians who think that deficit spending is the way that you deal with a situation like this. There are more free market types like myself who believe that it's all about empowering the creation of wealth in the private sector, about cutting taxes, about cutting back the size of government. But my goodness, for a man who was elected on the premise that he knew what to do about fixing the economy, it's rather astounding that he's now grasping for anything he can find that he can use to form the basis for a policy. And I would contrast that to his approach to health care. He certainly seems to know exactly what to do about health care because not only did he come into office and insist that it be completely remade and reformed, but he wanted it done by August. By August, 7 months into his presidency. So it's curious that he seemed to know exactly what to do about health care, but here we are in November and he doesn't have the slightest idea what to do about the economy. This is not difficult. The only thing the president has to do is study a little bit of history and find out what kinds of policies in the past had spurred the creation of wealth and had spurred job growth. And he will find that there are some very basic things. You cut taxes, especially corporate taxes. You rein in spending. Now, he did mention that, which is interesting. He talked about not wanting to build an economy based on people spending and building up their debt. And yet at the same time, he's building up the nation's debt at record levels, and although he gives lip service to the idea of getting deficits under control, the actual budgets that he projects over the course of the next decade do exactly the opposite. Do you get the impression at all that at any given moment President Obama will simply say whatever sounds good for the moment without having the slightest idea how to turn his words into rational policy, without having the slightest idea how to apply those words to governing and to actually solving problems? Do you get that idea? Because I sort of do. Thank you for watching. I'm Dan Calabrese, and this has been this week's response to President Obama's weekly address.